She owned like maybe 90 units, and I could not get her off the phone. And that's when I felt like, hey, the single family property management thing isn't a thing, but if you own more units, you're gonna have more problems. It's stupid and obvious in hindsight, but that wasn't the market I was first going after, right? And so I kept on that same sort of thread. And once again, I knew nothing. I didn't even know the word multifamily existed. It's a very like to be a complete fool of real estate.
It's very industry
And
specific.
yeah, it's a very industry specific term. And so I found this idea of an asset manager. And then I literally went to LinkedIn, searched for the word asset manager in apartments or multifamily, and cold emailed like maybe 50 to 60 at first. I think we cold emailed a lot more than we cold emailed like hundreds, but maybe 50 or 60 people met with us. And that was really nice. I'm very grateful. There were people from Starward, there were people from small family offices, there were people who were like people who call it graduated bigger pockets, and they told me the perspective. And then once we had a good concept of the problem and what people wanted to see solved, that was when we decided we're going to build a prototype. Once again, I'm over indexing on trying to validate the idea here because I was burned on my last company. And so what I did is we just made a prototype with images. And at the time, we used some very cutting edge technology. So it was very interactive and you could click on it and it felt real. And me and my co-founder, who's my wife, Jessica, we literally, it looked like, have you ever seen that meme of It's Always Sunny where you got Charlie and he's like pointing at everything and there's like red circles and
Yeah.
pointing? That was our office. And it
Yeah.
was like, asset managers think this, and this is what they think of property managers, and blah, 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 blah. And here's all the problems, and like trying to deduce it. And then we went through a process of distilling that into a very simple product. Call it like one page, five dashboards. Okay.
Mhm.
And then we went to another person and said, hey, what do you think of this? And then they said, this is trash. This is way too simple. We said, what would you change about it? And then they said, okay, here's all the things we would change. And we did that like another 50, 60 times. And we would like completely paint over these interviews where people would say these things and we try to pay attention to it and try to build a product that'd be useful to people. And so then we got through 100 between the first 50 that like just told us about the market and the next 50 that like completely tore apart a prototype until people are like, hey, this is cool. Does this exist? Can I have it? And the conventional wisdom in Silicon Valley is that you need to validate your price and validate the value and push people to pay for a product that doesn't exist. And the average real estate person is going to be like, I'm not paying for shit that doesn't exist. Hopefully, this isn't, you can bleep that out in the post credits here, but and they just looked at me like I was crazy. And I was like, okay, this is not a strategy. This is not going to work in this industry. These are very risk adverse, serious people managing a lot of money. Like they did me a big favor by just letting me in their office. And so I shot my shot. And the end of one of these interviews, I was like, hey, if this product was free, would you use it?